So very few cameras cause as much intrigue and probably as much controversy as this one. This is a camera with a lot of high-end features, but also kind of a high-end price tag as well. So luckily for me, there are far better people out there to break down the specs of this camera. That's not what I'll be doing in this video. What I want to do instead is show you some footage that I've shot with this camera and talk a little bit more about the features that actually matter to me. This is the Lumix S1 Mark II. So one of the biggest things that Lumix shooters were frustrated with when shooting with their full frame cameras was the fact that when you wanted to shoot 4K 60, it would crop into the sensor. So you're effectively getting an APS-C crop instead of the full frame sensor. Even their older Micro Four Thirds cameras like the GH5 could shoot 4K 60 without any additional crop. So now the really cool thing is that the S1 Mark II, you can shoot 48, 60, even 120 frames per second without any crop to your sensor. And that's something that you'll see I definitely utilized in this video. I shot a lot in 4K 60 and it was just really nice to have the full image of the sensor while still being able to slow things down. Something else that was pretty cool is that I got the opportunity to use this camera on a paid gig recently, and I was able to shoot 5K 60p in open gate, and that allowed me to frame for horizontal and for vertical, which the client that I was shooting for needed both those kind of deliverables, so that was really handy to have. Being able to shoot open gate with some higher frame rates is really, really useful, and I've been hearing some chatter from a lot of like Sony shooters that this isn't that necessary, but I always say that it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So Lumix did loan me this camera to test out, and it came preloaded with Arri Log C3. But keep in mind that this color profile is a paid upgrade. It's getting a little bright. Something that Lumix and Arri are doing with their cooperation is they're getting people familiar and hopefully stoked on using Arri Log C3, so that when we shoot with it on our Lumix cameras, once we get up to bigger projects, when we need an actual cinema camera, we're gonna gravitate towards an Arri because we're already used to the color science. Something else that's cool is that if you are using Arri cameras on your production, you can use these new Lumix cameras as B cams and the colors are gonna match perfectly. I've never had a problem with Vlog. I actually really like it, but I will say that there is a certain je ne sais quoi with Arri Log C3, and I don't know how to describe it. The colors are super rich and the skin tones just always look good. The entire time that I've had this S1 Mark II, I've shot exclusively in Arri Log C3. But just for my own curiosity, and to be fair, I set up a scene shooting an Arri Log C3 with the S1 Mark II, and then I shot the exact same scene with my S5 IIX and Vlog, used Cinematch to convert that Vlog footage into Arri Log, and then put the same LUT on just to see if the colors were actually that different. And honestly, I think that you could get away with shooting in either of these color profiles, but Arri Log C3 is a really nice log curve to work with. There is some pretty obvious physical differences if you're coming from a camera like the S5 Mark II or the S5 Mark IIX. The deeper grip and circular viewfinder are like subtle differences, but I think the biggest one is the flip up and out LCD screen. This enables a far better shooting experience in my opinion, and I think that it actually enables me to shoot a lot quicker and a bit more discreetly when I want to capture candid moments. So this video isn't really crafted to be a camera review, but more of a showcase on some of the specific features that I like about the S1 Mark II. There's a lot of chatter online about whether or not this camera is the best in its price range and if the features are really necessary or not. In my personal opinion, I don't think that you should let any kook online tell you what you need. Not even me. The best that I can do is just show you the features that actually matter to me. So I'm essentially a part-time YouTuber, part-time freelance videographer, so my needs could be totally different from yours. I built my entire YouTube channel off of the back of a $200 Panasonic GH3, so I think that saying that you need any of these features for it to be a good camera is a little bit disingenuous. So my advice to you would be figure out what frustrates you about the camera that you have now, and then see if the specs and features of the S1 Mark II will fix some of those problems. Are you okay, buddy? So my conclusion on this camera is that it just kind of gives me confidence when I'm shooting. If I need really good autofocus, it's got me covered. If I need good low light, it's got me covered. If I need great image stabilization, again, it's got me covered. If I need good dynamic range, it's got me covered. If I need a fast readout speed, it's got me covered. If I need 32-bit float internally, I can buy that XLR2 and it's got me covered. So it just really gives me a lot of confidence, especially when I'm doing paid gigs, to just make sure that I'm getting the best possible image that I can. The hybrid zoom gives me all the reach I would need. The cropless IBIS makes gimbals almost unnecessary in most cases. The open gate recording allows me to give different types of aspect ratio deliverables. And this is all in a full frame hybrid body that costs less than a 4-year-old FX3, which arguably can't do as much. And yes, if you put it in super harsh conditions and really push this camera, it might overheat on you, but it hasn't for me yet. Anyways, I think that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Vai con Deus, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Holy Ghost, your fear is gone, baby. Cover it. There's too much left to live for, and we're too far along. Fear is gone.